Now, what makes one massacre more newsworthy than another? This question over the last weeks dominated public debate across the globe amidst criticism of what appeared to be double standards in the coverage accorded to terror attacks in France and the killings by Boko Haram in Nigeria. Now, our online and new media desk sought opinions from our viewers on this question, and here's a sample of what some people had to say on Facebook. Satam Hussein argues that it's a racial issue, with Western media not keen or able to relate to issues affecting Africans. Solomon Augustine describes the apparent double standard as depressing beyond words and compares the recent lapses to the Rwanda genocide, which largely went uncovered until after nearly 1 million lives had been lost. On Twitter, Paul Oreva views the double standards as not a one-off bias, but the continuation of a trend to either ignore Africa or portray it in a negative light. And on Google+, Benjamin Carter agrees with sentiments that it all boils down to racism and that news values often identify with the people nearest, and hence it was easy for the tragedy in Nigeria to lose out to coverage of the attacks in France. All right, now joining us in studios, Barrack Muluka, a publisher and media consultant. Welcome to Africa Live.
Thank you very much.
Now, listening to some of that feedback from our viewers, what's your assessment of the coverage that was given to the attacks in Paris as well as the attacks by Boko Haram in Nigeria?
First, I think we want to appreciate the importance of proximity as a value in news gathering, reportage and coverage by and large. That whenever the Boko Haram have attacked the people of Nigeria, it has appeared to the Western media to be a very remote thing that is happening in some very far away place where they do not appreciate the sense of immediacy of the danger posed by the Boko Haram terrorists, and terrorists by and large away from the Western capitals. But when it does happen in a European capital city, it's a very immediate thing, and therefore they feel it quite close to themselves, over and above the fact that there is a preponderant presence of Western media outlets in Paris than you would expect them to be in any part of Africa. Hence, the very huge, heavy, and present and continuous coverage of the attack.
But what happens when even African media and Nigerian media specifically is criticized for not affording this event enough coverage?
Yes, indeed. I think that criticism is very legitimate because here in Africa we have freed the airwaves over a number of years, especially over the past 2 decades. Before that, we were saying we wanted a freeing of the space, we wanted more media outlets to also join in. But what you usually see is coverage of showbiz and soaps and that kind of thing. You do not have a dedicated news channels. For instance, you have seen here in Nairobi in Kenya that we have had tragedies, buildings collapsing, killing people. That's a massive tragedy. If that were to happen in a European city, you'd find dedicated coverage of that. The news houses would be trying to find out who the architects behind these constructions were, or who approved the plans. They would be holding public debates in the streets, in the studios, keeping the train focused on that event until such a time as something significant comes out. Or we have had in this country recently the body of somebody who is thought to have been a witness in the ongoing ICC cases. It's flashed in our news as just one of those little incidental things. If this were happening elsewhere...
But why little? Why is it incidental?
Our value of news media outlets, what they are supposed to be doing, we think a lot more in terms of stardom and the people we call celebrities. You have seen that even such a thing as institutional memory is not very useful at the level of anchorage, at the level of hostage of the the various programs and shows. It's more of showbiz. It's more of looking good, looking prime, looking saucy and sexy.
All right, we'll leave it there for the moment. We're speaking to Barrack Muluka, a publisher and media consultant. Thanks very much for your time today.